Hi, everybody. I'm Fran Spielman. With me is someone who is returning to the scene of the crime, I would say, because Alderman Anthony Beale, it was your appearance on this show declaring your opposition to Scott Waguespack and the mayor's choice of him as finance chairman that got you in trouble with her.
Right.
What happened after that? Because you were a backer of hers, right?
Right. I was one of the very first people in the city council that supported the mayor. And, was on the front line, helping her get elected. And, and I just tried to warn her on the reputation and, the tactics that the alderman did over the years that I've been there and worked with him. And I didn't think that was the kind of culture that we wanted to cultivate in the city council as far as working together and moving forward. And so, about me speaking out on that particular issue is, cost me a little bit.
It cost you your chairmanship. You were the Transportation Committee chairman. You were the police chairman before that. You're a 20-year veteran, and you're out. You were left out of the leadership team. What happened behind the scenes after your appearance here?
Well, there's just been no communication whatsoever. I've extended the olive branch a few times to try to bridge the communication gap in order to move things forward, and there's just not a will to work with me.
Did you write a letter? Did you call her? What happened after the appearance?
Well, I wrote a letter, saying, hey, let bygones be bygones. You have a right to choose your leadership team, even though it's the responsibility of the council to do it. The council allowed her to choose her leadership team. And, I accepted that. And we're going to move forward. I'm going to continue to work to improve my ward, and nothing is going to stop me from bringing jobs and opportunities into my community, to fight for better education in my community, to improve the public safety in my community and the housing stock. All those things I'm still going to be working on. And because I'm not on a leadership team does not necessarily mean that that's going to stop anything.
So she never yelled at you and said, how dare you say those things? She just froze you out?
Well, there was a subtle, hey, you need to pull back, we're going in a different direction, so to speak. And
did she say that to you, or did someone deliver the message?
It was people who were just saying that, that things weren't going like I thought they should. And that's fine. We're going to move forward. And it's, again, all the opportunities that I've been able to bring into my community, and, my community is standing behind me 1,000% because they know where my heart and dedication is. And we're going to continue to just move forward.
So you've had zero conversation with her since you had the nerve to speak out against Waguespack?
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Nothing. None whatsoever.
When you pass her in the hall, what happens?
Well, I speak, I address
Do you say
her.
good morning?
I say good morning. How you doing, Your Honor?
And what does she say?
Well, it's cordial. She says hello, good morning, or, Alderman.
But that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. And nothing else. All right. So let's fast forward to this week at the city council meeting. You and Ray Lopez deferred and published, which is the legislative term for the parliamentary term for exercising the right of any two aldermen to delay anything for any reason for one meeting.
Absolutely.
So you took some guy who's a ZBA appointee, a Zoning Board of Appeals appointee of hers, Mr. Ruddick, and you delayed that. You sent her a message. Why?
Well, it wasn't sending her a message. What it was is this gentleman, during his testimony for confirmation, stated that, I asked him how he felt about automatic prerogative, and he stated that the alderman's voice was just like every other voice in the community. And I just took exception to that, because we are elected by our constituents. We have over 60,000 people in our communities that, depend on us to be their voice in the city council and throughout government. And so to minimize that, it was just extremely alarming to me that anybody would have the gumption to say that, the aldermen, don't have the voice of their community.
And then Ray Lopez tried to force an immediate vote on his ordinance that would ban all vaping products as opposed to just the flavored ones as the mayor wants. And she slapped him down too.
Well, let me just say, I think we should have taken a bold approach on the whole vaping and e-cigarette issue. It is a national crisis right now. Everybody's talking about it. We know that it is a health issue. It's killing people. It's sending people to the hospital. And we don't know exactly what this is doing, what's causing it. And so until we find that out, there should have been an immediate ban. We should have taken immediate action in the city council to try to ban it until we find out what it is that's harming people. And
why do you suppose she opposed it? Because pride of authorship, or
well,
what?
You would have to ask her. I can't speak for her. But I felt that we should have taken a bold approach, and, any other mayor would have taken a bold approach and said that we need to stop it. They're talking about it on a national level. They're talking about it in Springfield because we don't know. And our kids are using these e-cigarettes and they're vaping. We need to stop it because it's an epidemic that's going across the country.
So she then, at a press conference, dismissed both of you, said Lopez is her most outspoken critic. She's called him a water boy for Ed Burke. And you're the sour grapes guy who was ousted from leadership, and you're upset about that. You're getting even. And this is a political stunt, and that the two of you are trying to do a backdoor to restore aldermanic prerogative by asking her appointees to swear a loyalty oath to you.
Well, that's nonsense, Fran. Anybody who would think that we are trying to get people to have allegiance to us, we have a responsibility to represent our community. I am elected, just like 49 other aldermen in this city, to represent their community. We are the voice of our community. We are the ones that are supposed to make sure that, whatever issue is hurting our community or, where we can help our community, that's what we're there for. And to totally dismiss that is wrong. It is wrong to dismiss an elected official who was elected by the voice of their people and to minimize their voice as far as what their community needs and wants are. It's just wrong.
So what's wrong with her dealings with the council? And is there more discontent brewing than just the two of you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I talked to all of my colleagues in passing and everybody is frustrated. Everybody is frustrated, but are they speaking up? No, they're not. But yes, I do believe that people are really getting frustrated on how the city is being governed right now, because nobody downtown knows my community like me. Nobody knows our communities like the alderman. And to dismiss that is wrong. So, we have to fight for our voice. And that's what I'm fighting for. I'm not fighting against the mayor. I'm fighting for our voice in city government because our people elected me to have that voice, and nobody's going to minimize it.
When you say everybody's frustrated, what is everybody frustrated about, and what are they saying amongst themselves?
Well, the fact that, what I just articulated, the fact that you can't call and somebody stole somebody's garbage cart. We have people doing construction all the time and they take garbage carts, fill them up and take them. Well, if I can't call and get Miss Jones a new garbage cart without having them report back to the commissioner or the mayor's office, is that's wrong. If somebody's lights are out because they're afraid that there may have just been a robbery in that area, or there's breaking in garages in a particular area, but the lights are out and I can't call to get those lights back on. If I can't do the minimal things for the quality of life of my community, what good are we? What good are we as elected official and aldermen if we can't do the small things to help the quality of life in our community?
So you're saying she's trying to neuter the city council to the point where they might as well not exist?
Well, the path that we're going, we don't need aldermen. The way things are happening, we don't need aldermen because everything is being directed to the departments. Everything's being directed to the city. The departments can't handle, and they don't know what's going on out in our community. They don't know what's what we need in our community. No commissioner knows the entire city of Chicago. They rely on us to be that voice. So if we are not that voice, those commissioners are going to do what they think that is best in interest of the city, but it's not. It could be harmful to our community. And if something is coming into my community that's going to be harmful, my community doesn't want it, but a commissioner downtown says, well, we're going to do that, then the people are going to say, well, you know what good is my alderman? Why did I elect you to represent us if you can't control what is coming in and out of our community?
So she's already gone after aldermanic prerogative over licensing and permitting. You say she's gone too far in taking away all manner of little city services from you, even though we have 311. And she hasn't even gone after zoning. That will require a city council vote. What's going to happen when that comes up for a vote?
Well, I can assure you, the thing is, the first step was to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals. That is a roundabout way to try to nip at zoning. And so once that happens, if there is any attempt to go after zoning, I guarantee you there will be the biggest wall that they will hit because no alderman is going to give up that amount of authority.
So is there a larger city council rebellion brewing? I have seen and covered so many mayors. I've seen rebellions before. This is how it starts. Is there one brewing here?
Well, the thing is, I hope not. But if things continue to go in the manner that they're going, with a total disregard of, our voice in city government, our voice in our community, then it's going to continue to percolate. I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. I'm hoping that the olive branch is extended. I'm willing to work with the mayor. I'm not opposed to everything the mayor is doing. I want to work with the mayor for the betterment of this city. It's in the best interest of our communities that we work together. So nobody wants a war. Nobody wants a fight. We want to work together. And so, I'm more than willing. Any given day, the mayor calls me, I will drop whatever I'm doing to meet with her to do what's in the best interest of this city. But my voice is never going to be silent.
Yeah, your voice is now calling a rallying cry for your colleagues. Here, you write an op-ed in our paper today, and you say, Mayor Lightfoot may imply that there's some nefarious motive to the opposition to our ideas, but that is fantasy. You say you're just representing the communities that you are elected to serve. And you say also that the idea of doing this in the name of corruption is also a fallacy because only 5% of the aldermen who have served since the 1930s have gone to the slammer.
Absolutely.
That's at the record. You can't deny.
No, I'm not denying that there has been
aldermanic prerogative has been and is at the center of the Burke indictment and everything else. So she's saying, I was elected to change that. I was elected to reform it.
Well, again, I don't think those were the terminologies that were articulated during the campaign. It was, I'm going to clean up corruption. I'm going to clean up city government, but nothing alluded to, I'm going to make sure the aldermen can't do anything in their ward. That was never articulated. But I agree, something needed to be done. And I made recommendations before this whole thing was rolled out on some ideas on what could be done.
What
now,
were
the
they?
thing is, if a permit is denied, then that should be a red flag for the department to say, okay, Alderman, why are you denying? Why are you holding up this permit? Why are you holding up this license? Flag that. But don't stop the day-to-day operation that's going to basically slow our communities from growing. Because I've been growing a lot of jobs and opportunities in my community. So we're moving forward. If something is denied, flag that and go after that to find out why that's being held up. Because if it's being held up for, financial reasons, if it's been held up for somebody, a job or something then that's a red flag and that needs to be attacked. But don't just throw everything out because you just don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
So she went too far. She attacked it with a sledgehammer. And in the process, is destroying her relationship with the council? Well,
the thing is, I'm hoping that we can move forward. Any relationship can be repaired with a conversation.
How does she repair this?
With a conversation. Let's find out
who?
With all of us.
To say what?
To say, look.
You're her. What do you do?
I would reach out and meet with every alderman and find out exactly what your issues are. How can I help you with those issues? How can I help you in your ward? If your ward is lacking in jobs, okay, how can I help you with jobs in your community? If you're having public safety issues with the police, how can I help you with those issues? If you have a housing crisis, how can I help you with it?
What makes you think she's not doing that?
Because there's no dialogue. There's no conversation. There's just, we're going to do these things without our input. And
aldermen are just in the blind right now?
Absolutely.
Now, Rahm Emanuel worked the city council. He got lopsided votes because he worked at it. He really had the back of these aldermen. How would you compare the two of them in their dealings with the council?
You can't compare the two because, again, Rahm was a political beast, okay? He loved the game. And you stated, he worked the council. He talked to everybody. He, learned your issues. He was trying to get familiar with every community group, every issue in the community, but he did not circumvent the alderman. He went through the alderman to accomplish those things. Now there's just an attempt to circumvent and not deal with the alderman on what's in the best interest of our communities.
So what lesson should she learn from Rahm Emanuel?
Well, again, communication. we're all sincere about our community. And I'm sure she's, is sincere about the government of the city of Chicago. There's no doubt that, there is a genuine opportunity for us to work together, but we have to do that. We have to work together if the city is going to grow. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm just, against the mayor, because I'm not. I want to work with the mayor. There are issues that, we can work together on to make this city a better place, but we have to have dialogue in order to find out where their common interests are so we can move forward.
Now, there's an $838 million deficit, or so she says. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that, or do you think she inflated it?
Well, I believe that it was inflated. And because...
For what purpose?
Well, you'd have to ask her. I believe it was inflated, because it's just amazing that, within 3 months we can have $180 million decrease in the deficit in just a few months.
She claims she walked into $1 billion, $1 billion deficit.
Well, I would like to know how we
coming.
Decreased it to 838. I would love to know, how we just decreased almost $170 million.
Do you think that's a fantasy?
Well, again, I don't know. We're going to find out during the budget process.
Okay. So you doubt that it's 838. What do you think it is?
Well, no, I'm not doubting the 838. I think it was inflated to decrease it to appear that it was something that it was not.
I see. So she could look good?
You have to ask her. I don't know.
So what happens, first of all, can she avoid a property tax increase?
In this climate, no. Based on what the state came out with yesterday, the state came out and said that they're looking at consolidating pensions throughout the entire state, excluding Chicago. That was a huge blow to the city of Chicago. The fact that we don't have a casino in the works yet.
She needs a fix.
She needs a fix. And, I've had 2 casino operators come to my ward and they love the site that's in my ward for a casino. And so, I presented that and it was not even mentioned in the first 5 that were rolled out. But
Where is that?
It's off 103rd and Woodlawn. It's vacant land. It's ready to go, shovel ready, and we can move expeditiously in order to get a casino up and going in the 9th ward.
Even with this tax structure?
Well, the tax structure still would have to change. And I was working, basically against the tax structure that was in place. I mean, I called Madigan, called Bob Rita, and the same structure that was approved was the same structure that Rahm Emanuel turned down, and it was the same structure that Mayor Daley turned down. And so we knew the formula would not work. And so the formula that would work, and the only formula that would work, in my opinion, is a city-owned casino. So I think what the city needs to do right now is to RFP the whole casino license and then award it to someone through that RFP and then go to Springfield with an operator and say, here we are. I have an operator. This is the formula that we need. Don't just go down there and say, we need a fix. Go down there with what the fix needs to be. This is what we need to do in order to make this work.
You're saying choose an operator for what site?
For whatever site they choose.
Whatever site. So you think an operator is going to sign up for whatever site the city happens to choose?
No. If you choose an operator,
yeah,
let that operator find out where the best site is. Look, we don't know what's, when we look at statistics, we look at data, we look at all the different things to find out where we can maximize our resources. One thing that the governor stated that the casino is not just about revenue. The governor said that. So therefore, even though we want to maximize the revenue, but it's about transforming communities. That's what the governor put that casino bill. He wants it to transform a community. He wants to make sure that a community has an opportunity to grow by having that casino, bring those jobs into the area. What I'm proposing is over 5,000 jobs on my site, because we're talking about a hotel, we're talking about a ballroom, convention center, along with the casino. So we have an opportunity to do a comprehensive, massive plan. And, that's what needs to happen. We need to RFP it, go to Springfield and say, we have an operator, we have a site, or let them pick the site, and then go to the gaming board and go to the state legislator and say, this is what we need.
And you think she ignored your site just to get even with you again?
You would have to ask her. I can't answer that.
But do you think that's a matter of
Well,
spite?
again, I think I have a gorgeous site. I think it's anytime you have 2 casino operators who said that they like my site and it's a wonderful site, and then you got other sites where the alderman was like, you're not bringing it here, but I'm saying bring it on. I got a perfect scenario for you.
But the consultant says it's got to be downtown. It's got to be where the tourists are and the conventioneers are.
That consultant was paid to see where you can maximize the resources. maximize revenue.
Isn't that what we should do for police and fire pensions?
That is not what the governor is stating. The governor said it's not all about revenue. Okay, it has to be comprehensive. It has to be more about just revenue. It's got to be about jobs, opportunity, transforming a community that has been hit hard by, disinvestment. And so that's why it has to be more than just about money.
So you're saying, though, that she's going to have no choice but to raise property taxes by how much?
Well, what I see, and again, I'm just speculating because we don't have a budget yet. We don't know what the data is stating, but I'm thinking between maybe 400 to 500 million.
Really?
Yeah.
What'll happen? And could she get the votes for that?
Well, we'll see.
You don't think so? You're smiling. I see you smiling.
We'll see.
You're like a Cheshire cat.
Well, it's going to be tough. Let me just say that.
Because of the way she's handled the council, or because it's just too tough, period?
Well, some of the reforms that have been put in place, I think, have already escalated some of our deficit. Some of the, you wrote an article a couple of weeks ago that the whole ticket reform cost us $15 million. And so that's going to cost us. We know that the suburban areas owe the city millions of dollars in water. Are we collecting that money? That's money that the taxpayer...
We're going in the other direction. We're not going to shut off water. We're going to be...
But if you do not collect the water fees that are outside the city of Chicago, now I understand the mayor's trying to, help, low-income people, and I applaud her for that. We agree with that 100%. But there's millions of dollars outside the city where these municipalities owe the city of Chicago. They're getting their water from us. They're collecting. They're turning their people's water off, but they're not passing the money back to us, and they're not paying us. They're using it for their bottom line. So something needs to be done about that.
So you're saying she's exacerbating the deficit?
Well, I think that some of the reforms are costing us a little more money.
The water part too?
There's part of the water that could potentially be raising the deficit. Absolutely.
So you're saying she's going to have to raise property taxes by 400 or 500 million, as Rahm did 588 million. Mm-hmm. Alderman walked the plank for him. Mm-hmm. You're not going to walk the plank for her?
Well, the mayor worked it, as we stated earlier. He worked it. He communicated with everyone. He talked to everyone, and he let them know the importance of it. You have to communicate. You have to communicate. You have to communicate.
And because she has not, what's going to happen when the budget comes?
If there's no communication, if there's no dialogue, I don't see how you get the votes to pass a budget.
So what's going to happen then?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're getting into budget season. I'm hoping that, the ship is turned around. I'm hoping that the dialogue takes place. I'm hoping that we can all work together. But if it doesn't, then, we could have potential problems. And
we won't have a budget? Are we going to be like Congress?
We'll see.
Do you think that could happen?
Well, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Right now we're looking at a strike from CTU in a couple of weeks if they don't get a contract.
How do you think she's dealing with that union?
Well, let me just say, the state changed the formula and the city of Chicago got millions of more dollars for education. That money is not being passed down to the classroom sizes. We need to make sure that we have nurses, we have counselors, we can reduce some of the classrooms. That formula the state formula is not being implemented in the city of Chicago. So
she has a plan to phase in some,
Well, but the money is there. The state gave the city the money to change how we operate and how things are done, how money is allocated. The state did their part. So I think we need to do our part by saying,
writing it into the contract.
It needs to be wrote into the contract because
why?
Why not? Every other municipality does it. They are abiding by the state guidelines. So why are we different than the rest of the state? The state gave us more money anticipating that we were going to do the right thing by the state guidelines, and we're not doing that right now.
So you think she should write it into the contract, and if she doesn't, there's going to be a teacher strike?
Well, I hope it's not a teacher strike because our kids need to be in school. Our kids need to be learning. They need every minute of every hour, to get a quality education. And so I'm hoping that it is averted. But at the same time, I can understand and I can sympathize that if we give you more money, and I'm saying the state gives you more money, and then you don't do what the state is telling you to do, I think that's an issue.
And with regard to marijuana sales, is she wrong to exempt downtown?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to lose out on tens of millions of dollars by excluding downtown. Downtown would be, in my opinion, it will be the hub of resources as far as what we can, squeeze out of, the marijuana industry.
It's the mother load.
It's the mother load. And we're going to exclude the mother load when we have an $838 million deficit. I think it needs to be included.
Well, you're painting a rather dire picture of where we're going as a city, and we might end up with Congress with no budget.
Well, I'm hoping not. I'm really optimistic, and I'm going to continue to fight because I've fought my entire career, and I will never stop fighting for my community. But I have been around for a little while, and I think I can see, how things are shaping and how things are moving forward, and listening to people. And I'm just hoping that we can, kind of right the wrongs in order to get this city on the right track.
Are you getting calls because of this from your colleagues? What's been the reaction?
I've got a few this morning.
And what do they say? You crazy?
They say I was right on point and great article.
And they are giving you attaboys.
A few of them have called and said that was a great article.
How many?
Well, I'm not going to get into the number, but
do you have 26? Anthony Beale, thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it.
And we'll see you all next week.